Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Singleton, you entered a plea
Yes, ma'am.
on March 30th to aggravated sexual assault. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 10 years. The state opposes your application. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
We have.
All right. Any objections, state?
No.
Defense?
Judge, the only thing that I would add is it's left out that one of his priors was out of Houston. And it was an indecency with a child where he served 5 years prison.
Okay.
I wanted to bring that up because my clients can talk about that. Secondly, when they asked about the incident, because it was 21 years ago, my client was kind of in shock trying to remember, but and you'll hear from him when he testifies, Judge, but he's very sorry about what happened. And that was left out of the PSI report. Other than that, we have no objections.
Okay. State, do you have any witnesses?
We do not, Your Honor.
Defense, any witnesses?
No witnesses in person, Judge. I tendered to both the state and to your clerk 4 letters from family members.
And the court is in receipt of the letters. Any objections to the court reviewing those letters, state?
No, Your Honor.
All right, the court will review the letters. All right, the court has reviewed the letters. Any argument from either side? State you're opposed?
Well, Judge, my client would like to speak.
Oh, okay. Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record, please.
Tremonte Singleton.
All right, defense?
Tremonte, you stand now before the judge. This incident happened back in 2002, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Never once when we talked from the first moment that we met till today, did you ever intend to fight this case? Is that correct?
No.
Because you knew you did it.
Yeah.
And in fact, you went to prison out of Houston from 2009 to 2014, correct?
Yes, sir.
For an incident that occurred in Houston
Yes. But they
back in 2002. Okay, and while they were investigating that incident, you also got notice that they were investigating this incident out of San Antonio, correct?
Right.
Okay. So when you took your plea in Houston, you had never met me, right?
No, sir.
And so you took your plea in Houston, you did your time, you did almost the whole 5 years, correct?
I did the whole 5.
And when you got out, you thought both of these cases were long gone, correct?
Your Honor, I object to leading.
All right, that'll be overruled.
I'm just trying to speed things up there. So when you were arrested on this charge, you were shocked, correct?
Yes.
In fact, wasn't that basically what you were telling me the first time we met? You couldn't believe that this was happening, that was in your past and you thought you had taken care of everything.
What I would like to say first, I apologize. And I'm very sorry to the victim if I hurt him or anything caused any harm in their life. I sincerely apologize for it. But when I was arrested in 2009, I was made aware of this case. And all I wanted to do was just get everything out the way. And I asked them about when was I coming back here to face punishment or whatever for this case. I went through 5 years Never got expedited, never got a bench warrant from TDC, never had a detainers from the wall. I stayed out another 8.5 years, registered, done everything I had to do, and I didn't know that this case was still about me until they picked me up in 2022. And I had asked them about this particular case way back then, and there was never no warrant, no nothing until now.
Now, Tremonti, when you said you reported as a sexual predator every year from 2014 up to 2022, correct?
Yes.
You never got into any trouble from 2014 to 22.
No, sir.
Okay. During that time period, you had children, didn't you?
Yes.
You had a job. You were gainfully employed.
Yes.
You were trying to be the best citizen you could.
Best dad, best brother, best son, best everything I could be. I wasn't trying to be the person I am now. You know what I'm saying? It was from 21 years ago.
And you would have been gainfully employed except you got hurt on the job. Is that correct?
Yes, I am. I'm legally disabled to my right wrist because I got my hand crushed by some pipe.
And in fact, you're still awaiting surgery on your elbow, aren't you?
Yeah, elbow.
You receive about what, $1,500 to $1,600 a month on disability?
Right at $1,600 a month from Liberty Mutual, being disabled.
And you have 5 children,
5.
2 of which you are intimately involved with,
Yes.
helped raise.
Yes, sir.
How are those kids doing in school?
Doing great.
One of them's honor roll,
Yeah,
your 16-year-old,
I is on the road. So,
and your younger son, he's making good grades,
yes,
A's and B's.
yes, sir.
The other 3 kids, you don't have as much involvement because of their mother, correct?
Exactly.
But do you try to help support them?
Of course, yes, sir.
Anything you can.
The best I can.
Okay, now you know the judge can send you to prison for up to 10 years,
Yes, sir. I understand that.
or she can give you deferred adjudication for up to 10 years.
I understand that.
If she were to give you deferred adjudication, why would she do that? You have this horrific past. Are you the same person you were back then?
No, sir. I'm not the same person I was.
Does the fact that you've stayed out of trouble since 2014 help show that you're a different man?
I would like to think that, but like I said, it's only, you can go by only so much, you know what I'm saying? I know in my heart that I'm not that person from 14 years ago. I never want to go back to being that person.
Would you do anything the judge requires you?
Anything.
If she sends you to jail, you understand.
I understand that.
You respect that. But you're hoping she gives you this opportunity. I'll tend to the witness.
State.
Mr. Singleton, who is the victim in the case from Harris County?
Her name is Nick. Yes.
What was your relationship to her?
Didn't have a relationship. Me and her stepdad, we were kind of like friends.
So were you a family friend of hers?
No, not a family friend. Just knew just like living in the same neighborhood and stuff, but I didn't know her.
Was it a similar situation as this case where you assaulted her in public?
Mm,
So this happened in a home?
yes.
What you were in a position of trust?
Mm, you per se, yeah.
Okay. And how old was she?
15.
Okay. So she was the same age as the victim in this case.
Yes.
And you didn't know the victim in this case, did you?
No, I didn't even know her age until after I got arrested here.
Okay. Now, you knew you had committed this crime, right? When it happened, you knew it was a crime.
I didn't know that I got charged with this crime until 2009 when they questioned me about it. I didn't actually know that I was even charged with this until I got arrested.
So you thought you got away with it until you were arrested for it.
I thought I got away with it. I just never thought it was. I was never arrested for it, so I didn't know that.
Object to non-responsive. You knew it was a crime when you raped her. in 2002?
I didn't, well, if that's what you want to say, yes.
Okay. So did you go to the police in San Antonio and turn yourself in and say, I just raped a 15-year-old girl?
No, because their circumstances of what they're saying and what I need to be the truth never got put out there. I was never interrogated, not even here, not even in Houston. Barely, they just asked me a few questions about it. I was never interrogated. I was never able to tell my side of the story.
Okay, so now you're saying that you weren't actually, it wasn't an investigation and you knew that the charges weren't actually pending.
No, I didn't know that. No, it was an investigation or nothing. I didn't know nothing about this case until I got to Harris County. When I got arrested in 2009, I didn't know nothing about this case.
Okay. It wasn't until 2021 that San Antonio Police Department actually came and served you with a warrant to get a sample of your DNA, correct?
No, they did not get an initial warrant out to get a sample of my DNA. They already had my DNA in 2009 when they questioned me. They had already had my DNA.
Are you saying they didn't come and get another swab out of your mouth?
No. No, they did a yearly swab. As,
Okay.
a yearly swab as I was registered.
Okay.
But they already had my DNA in 2009 when they questioned me. Because that's how I got alerted to the case in 2009 when they told me that I had a DNA match back then, 14 years
In
ago.
2009, did you try to find out the name of the victim from 2002?
They told me tonight.
Did you ever try to reach out and apologize to her?
No, I was being incarcerated at the time. I was on my way to.
Did you make any attempts?
Not make any. I didn't know. I barely even knew. That was like you talking about something that happened in 2002. This is 2009. I'm talking about it was 7 years before I wasn't even staying in San Antonio at the time.
Okay, but you got your GED while you were incarcerated, correct?
Yes.
So you had access to people who knew how to look into information. People from the outside world.
I'm going to object to vague, Judge.
All right, well, this is the question the court has. I want to know why a charge that happened in 2002, and I understand the honor about dates and the indictment is honor about 2022, but I want to know why something that occurred in 2002, he's in prison, everybody should know where he is, he's at the prison. Why is this just being addressed now? That's what I want to know.
So Judge,
no.
we discussed that. I discussed it with my client. I discussed it with the state. I told my client that we could file a motion for speedy trial, that the detectives, the state dropped the ball, that this all should have been taken care of back then. But he did not want to do that. He knew he had done it, wanted to go forward, but just wanted to let you know that he had spent 5 years in prison thinking that all of this was taken into consideration when it clearly wasn't. And so I think that's one of the reasons why the state made this offer, because we discussed this, we worked everything in, but we wanted to bring it to your attention so that you knew that that was an option. He didn't want to go with that option, Judge. He just wanted to come up, let you know what had happened, and hoping that you'd give him the deferred.
All right. Well, I'm not going to give you deferred adjudication. I am going to find you guilty. So the issue that needs to be discussed is with regards to the offer of a cap of 10 years and the sentence that I give him. There needs to be, I guess, an investigation or law needs to be pulled on what time he gets credit for.
Well, I would ask that he gets credit for all 5 years, Judge.
Your Honor, if I could just say something, technically he was not, an arrest warrant was never walked. He was, the first time a warrant ever went out for this case was when he was indicted for this case. So as far as speedy trial or anything like that, I mean, they didn't have enough to indict until they did a comparison. So it wasn't just the CODIS that he was indicted on. They did another swab.
See, but here's the thing, Judge. They had his name, they had his location, if they had done any real investigation, they would have been able to find that he took this plea in 2009 and was reported, they had his DNA. So I understand their point, and this is one of the things that I explained to my client, because they did not walk the arrest warrant, but they knew all of the factors. And it wasn't like he went anywhere. It's not like he ran. He was there the whole time. In his mind, he had worked this all out, was going to prison so that when he was done, he could start his life anew, and he did. He is the poster child of our rehabilitation system. He got out. He reported like he was supposed to. He got himself a job. He got himself a community with his mom, his aunt, his neighbors. You read some of those letters. I mean, his daughters think the world of him, okay? Because from that point on in their world where he lived with them, he was the perfect father. He did everything he could for his children. And I submit to you, this is what we want from our justice system. We want people who make huge mistakes, and he did, Judge. He's not denying that.
Well, what I can tell you is the court thinks it's morally wrong. Notice I'm not using the word legally, but I think it's morally wrong for people. And I know it wasn't this prosecutor. I think it's morally wrong for people to know that people are at the prison. And then when people get out, then bam, we're dropping a case on them that's been in existence and been out there. And I know, Ms. Mitchell, you were not a part of that. So I am going to find him guilty. And if anybody wants to do research on what credit for time he should be entitled to, maybe we may be making some new law here. Let the court know, and counsel, if he is able to get credit for the time that he was at the prison, you say the 5 years.
Yes.
If you bring the court case law for that, we'll consider giving him time for the 5 years.
Yeah.
So if someone brings that to me, I will make sure that he receives that. Mr. Singleton, I'm going to tell you, I understand that you have changed your life, and it seems that you've changed your life for the better. And I understand that you thought that all of these cases were being taken care of when you took care of the other. I've read the stipulations. I always reread the stipulations, and I always read the PSI report. So I know the circumstances behind this. And I never blame complainants for anything that happens to them, because you're living your life. You're not breaking the law. Nobody's supposed to break the law where it impacts and hurts you. But I saw the circumstances behind everything that's in the stipulations. The drug use, which is the drug use by you, and the complainant who's underage, which should not have happened because she's underage and you should not be using drugs with her. The mother who is and father who are not watching her the way they should watch her. So there are a lot of things that would. Could somebody help Miss? Yes, with her phone. Thank you. So I understand there are a lot of issues going on, but at that same token, this is the plea bargain agreement you entered into. Okay. The court is going to find you guilty. The court will sentence you to 10 years in the prison. The court will give you credit for any time served, and defense if you bring me documentation of the amount of time that he served in prison. And if the law says that I can give him that time, then of course he will receive that time. If you think he should get that time and you want to file an appeal on that for him to get that time, just let the court know. And I know you're court appointed. Is that correct?
Correct.
You can be court appointed to address that issue as well.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Going to show you. Oh, and I'm sorry. There's also Chapter 62 registration. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you sign it? All right. Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
I have
Yes.
one question.
Yes.
You said if they find out that I was already locked up, I was interrogated about this case out of Harris County. It said I have an audio tape interrogation out of Harris County about them questioning me about this case, about them calling here saying that we have him in custody in Harris County, out of Harris County on
Okay.
this case.
All right, counsel, do you have that information?
We have that information, Judge.
All right, so if you present that, and again, if based upon the law, if I'm allowed to give you credit for that, I will. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know offhand because I don't have all the information about who knew what and when they knew it. I know that you're saying that they knew it and your attorney's saying they knew it, but I actually have to see the evidence for that. And if that's presented to me, and if case law says that I can give you credit for that time, I will give you credit for the 5 years.
Yeah, because when they before I initially turned myself in, I had the case out of Harris County and they told me I had a case pending out of San Antonio, which my DNA was a match in 2009. And when I turned myself in, I got the 5 years out of Harris County. I asked the judge, when were they going to send me back to San Antonio for this case? So I've been know about this case. I've been know about this case since 2009. And I thought that they would have came and expedited me, since they took my DNA at TDC after I took the time. And they took my DNA also when I got out of the walls.
Okay.
I never had a detainer.
All right. So, Mr. Singleton, just give that information to your attorney. And again, if the case law says that I can give you credit for that, I will. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's a case. That's what you said.
Who's here on Angel Cruz?
I am, Your Honor.
Yes. Hello. Top of the morning.
Mr. Cruz is present. He has an MTR. He also has a new case.
Mhm.
We're discussing, the DA and I are discussing a resolution for both cases.
Okay.
However, I've not sat down before today with Mr. Cruz about the new case. I'm asking for a reset to give him time to review the.
All right. And the new case, is it indicted?
It's not indicted, but
It's unindicted, Judge, but I did make a pre-indictment offer.
Okay. And you're on both cases, Mr.
yes,
Wood?
Judge.
All right. Where's Mr. Cruz? Have him come forward.
Cruz,
All right. How much time are you requesting?
30 days
Okay.
or less.
All right.
Whatever you give me.
All right. What is the new charge? Mr.
Mr.
Cruz, come forward. All right. And the new charge?
Burglary of a building, Judge. It's not a habitation.
Oh, I'll give you 2 weeks. It's a burglary of a building. Okay.
Judge.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 2-week reset on Angel Cruz for disposition?
I would do June 12th.
Is June 12th good for
Sure,
you?
Judge. Sure.
All right. After you sign the reset form, you're excused. Thank you.
I'll get it ready.
Thank you, Judge.
Oh, I like anime too. All right, who is here on Tyrone Shepherd?